Hey guys, how's it going? I wanted to talk about four things that you can spot in your own form, in your player's form, in your neighbor's form, whoever. Four ways to spot natural noob form. And the thing with noob form is we all do it. This is how everyone starts holding the stick, moving the stick. So it's not any of our fault if we've got noob form, but we don't want to keep practicing noob form because this natural beginner form never becomes good form unless you get some help, which is what this is all about. So the first thing is we have to be able to spot it because in every other sport, like in baseball, if you throw the ball like this, like a baby, your coach is like, please stop doing that. They're not like, hey, I threw the kid out at first base, high five. The coach is like, we got to stop doing that because everyone's going to think I'm a bad coach if I don't teach you to stop doing this and start doing this. It's the same thing in lacrosse. This natural, I have to hold my top hand like a noob. This natural top hand, bottom hand pivot, top hand push motion. It's like everybody's brain is just wired to do this when you hand them a lacrosse stick. Even if they're like a baseball pitcher and they know, turn their hips, get their elbow up, get their wrist back, follow through, follow all the way through. Even if they know all that stuff in baseball, you hand them a lacrosse stick and they throw it just like a baby throws a ball with their hand, just like that. So it's not our fault, but we don't want to keep practicing it because it's going to end our careers. As soon as we have to compete for our spot with somebody who knows how to throw with advanced form, like this, as soon as we have to compete for our spot with someone who actually knows how to throw right, our career is over that day because there's no way to learn how to do that fast. It's like riding a bike with training wheels for your whole career and then trying out for the bike team. It's like you just can't transition. You just haven't been learning how to ride a bike. And when you do this, you're not really learning how to throw a lacrosse ball, which also means you don't know how to shoot a lacrosse ball. So check this out. All of these things we have to look at with a long motion, like a time and room shot. That's where we can see all this stuff. And we can't wear gloves because we need to see how our hands are holding the stick. So if there's nothing wrong with, like tons of pros, tons of top college players throw with this bottom hand pivot like this when they make a pass in a game or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that they also know, every one of them knows how to do this. And if you are if you're a middle school player, I'd say you got 95% of you don't know how to do this. And high school, maybe 50%. So if you know what I'm talking about, when I do this without explaining anything more, if you know what I'm talking about, you really have a responsibility, like with the rest of us who know this, to try to help the other players. Not, if you make fun of them for having noob form, or you say, hey, look how great my shot is and your shot sucks, you might as well just say you hate lacrosse and you don't want to play it because we're losing so many players that we're not even a growing sport. We're not the fastest growing. We're not even growing. We're a shrinking sport because everyone's quitting at the youth levels because they're not having fun. And lacrosse, anybody who throws like this knows, or shoots like this, knows it's so much more fun. All the stick fakes and everything you can do once you start pivoting the stick at your top hand instead of pivoting at your bottom hand, it opens up everything fun about lacrosse. So encourage people, help people. Tell them to watch these videos because I will teach them and we'll get there together. If you're watching this and you need help, we'll get there together. We'll make it there because really nobody else is going to teach you. They might teach you like one part of it or two parts of it, but you have to have all four parts. So let's talk about what the four things are that we naturally do and how to change each one so that they work. Because if you mess up one of them, the whole thing falls apart. That's what the real trick is. Nobody explains all four things. So the first thing is noob fist. Everybody naturally holds a stick like this in their palm. So if you do that, you want to move the stick to what I call the bear hand. Bear, like this is the karate hand form, bear hand. And you can see how the fingers are gonna grab the stick. Now, your one hand cradle, your wrist cradle, your power cradle, they all make sense. And go to stickworks.com to check this stuff out. Fastest growing sport in America. Chuck, it is a shrinking sport in America, my friend, 2 years straight. And we don't even have the 2019 numbers. It's probably 3 years straight. And girls youth lacrosse is growing so slowly, they might go negative this year. So it's all U.S. lacrosse participation report. Look up the numbers yourself. Boys lacrosse, the The last 2 years, that's 2017, 2018. We don't have 2019 data yet, but we'll get it in the summer. And it's going to be 3 years in a row of shrinking, right? Something is seriously broken in lacrosse, and this is what it is. And let me know what your thoughts are, please. A conversation is much more fun than a lecture. So check this out. So if you hold your top hand in this noob fist, move it to a bare hand, or that's for like one hand cradling, wrist cradle, power cradle, all this at stickworks.com, with Stickworks with an E. It's a global competition. Then you have to learn the gun grip, which you probably seen people teach you like this. Pinch it, then bottom 3 fingers. I like to say, look, it's got to show a gun pointing sideways through the stick to know you got it right. If the gun points up, you're going to give up. This is a noob. It points up when you got a noob fist. So it's an easy way to tell when somebody's got the stick in their hands. You say, show me the gun. If they go like this, then you're like, hey, you got a noob fist. It's not going to work. So that's number one, noob fist to the gun grip, bear grip, bridge grip looks like this. This is all explained at stickworks.com. And look, and all this stuff is so subtle. When people have gloves on, you can't tell. Every pro, every advanced player who you think is great, they all do these 3 hand grips, but nobody explains it. They just say, hey, just hold the stick and, do what I do. And they forget all this stuff is so subtle. So top hand grip, number 1. The second thing is elbow rule. If you hold this stick like this, it's really likely you are going to noob it out, because when your hands are wider than the distance from your elbow to your top hand, when your stick's longer than that, it's impossible to do like a smooth motion. It's super awkward and everything gets messed up, which I'm going to show you in a second. So put a big knob of tape under your hand here. So when you slide your hand down from, having wide hands for catching, slide your hands down, it hits that knob of tape. You never have to measure it again, just measure it once. Put that big knob of tape there until it's just natural. After you've done it 10,000 times, you don't need the tape to know you got it in the right spot. So the third thing is you've got to lose this noob form, you got to get your hands up here. If your hands are low, you're going to noob it forever. It's just so hard to break it. Get your hands up here like this. Get your bottom hand in front of your face like this. You're natural, tons of you, grab a stick and do this with me, because it'll help you remember. If you're tied, it's really natural to have your top hand in front of your face. You need to have your bottom hand in front of your face. And look, I can point the stick at the target. If my top hand is in a noob fist, I'm going to naturally point the stick out to the side, because that's the way my wrist naturally is when I'm in a fist. But I move it to gun grip. Hey, now I can point it wherever I want, right at the target, to make it accurate. And the fourth piece of it is pulling with your bottom hand. This is like, there are just a handful of people who are watching this who are in middle school or high school who will know what I'm talking about with this one. You've got to pull your bottom hand to your elbow to start this motion. And if your hands, there are 2 ways I could tell, and that all of you will be able to tell if you stop watching the ball. If you're watching some video or something, just watch, or, if you're, out with the bounce back or something like that, or shooting or something, you can watch your own form. And if your hands, even if you look like a rock star like this, getting ready to shoot, if your first move is this, bottom hand coming down and your stick starting to rotate, you have got noob form. And that means a bottom hand pivot, where the stick pivots at your top, or your bottom hand like this. See how my bottom hand does nothing. Stick pivots there, and the only strength I have is with my top hand. And you've got 2 arms. That's why every advanced player, every pro, everyone who makes it, pulls their bottom hand to their elbow and then pushes with their top hand. They're using both their arms. They're getting all this power for free. And you want to succeed. You want to have fun. These are the things you have to learn. And the first thing you need to do is stop with the noob fist. Stop doing this wide hand grip that screws everything up. Stop shooting with your hands below your shoulders, right? They got to be above your shoulders. And start your motion by pulling with the bottom hand, pulling it to the elbow. Boom. I mean, you just feel the power of that. You feel like a rock star when you do this. And when you do this, you feel like awkward and kind of like freak. And you kind of look like a freak too. And any coach that's recruiting is going to say that kid doesn't know how to shoot. No matter how great you are, you look like you've still got, the form you had when you were in 4th or 5th grade. And that's really not your fault, because you just go through your career and everyone's just like, go practice wall ball, go play wall ball, work on it, find what works for you. Like everyone just pushes kids along and doesn't help them. So it's not your fault. But now that I'm telling you about it, this is your chance. Like if you want to turn your career from being like a okay lacrosse player, like a intermediate, like solid but not that great, right? If you want to change from that to being a rock star, this is how to do it. And it'll make you want to have a stick in your hand all the time because it's so much more fun. So look, this is the two things where you can spot noob form in a second. The shot motion starts by the bottom hand coming down and the stick rotating at the start. This is going to be noob form, and it's going to end up like this. Bottom hand is going to come to the hip and is going to show what I call the square, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 sides of the square. The stick is parallel to the ground, bottom hand's on my hip, or even if it's a little bit, like that, backed up like this, you can still see the square. That is noob form. And this is what every advanced player does with a time and room shot, is that they get their hands up like this, they slide their bottom hands in front of their face, they slide it to where their top hand's in front of their face. So they slide it forward like this. This is broken, this all happens kind of at once, but if you do it in slow-mo, this is what they do. Slide it up here to make this distance absolutely humongous so that they can rip it down with their bottom hand. So they're using the maximum amount of power they get from their bottom hand, and their top hand then goes all the way over, and the stick winds up pointing at the ground. Boom, down by their opposite toe. The stick does not look parallel like this or just a tiny bit tilted down. It's like perpendicular to the ground. That's how you can spot a top hand pivot, which is what every advanced player uses. Bridge to gun, bridge to gun. Just do this like 8,000 times while you're just chilling out. Like this is something that might feel awkward at first, but look at the motion that you get bridge to gun, right? I'm banging both sides of my arm. With a noob fist, if I hold it in the middle, my wrist has maybe like 60% of that motion. And it feels really awkward at the end. It's like my arm is like slowing the stick down to try to get a couple of more degrees of rotation. But look at how like effortless this is. Boom. So even if you're doing this one hand throws, one hand wall ball, like so many people tell you to do, don't do it in a noob fist. Do it with bridge to gun. Now you're learning half of a top hand pivot. It's timing between your bottom hand and your top hand. So you got to do it with two hands or you're really never going to learn it. But you got to do these 4 things, right? You got to get rid of the noob fist. You got to have elbow rule. You've got to have your hands up and do the whole motion above your shoulders. Then go all the way over and touch your toe. But learn to do it like this first. Like I didn't make any of this stuff up. This is just what every advanced player knows and what their dads, their brothers, their coach, if they've got a unicorn coach, their neighbor, their mom, their sister, whoever taught them a long time ago at the beginning of their career. So they didn't waste years doing this. Because every year that you do this is another year that you're not going to get better. And it works when you are a youth player. You can score tons of goals because goalies can't make saves at the youth level like they can at a good high school team or definitely at college teams, because the maximum shot speed you get from doing this is about 70 miles an hour. And once goalies start gobbling up 70-mile-an-hour shots, your career is over. This is how you can have a ton more fun, and your career will go as long as you're willing to put in the work and do all the, there's so many other things to learn in lacrosse and get good at. Just get this, get rid of the noob form, get this advanced form, and your career is like bright. Your future is bright. You're going to love the game. It brings you closer to the game. And, that's the whole reason you're playing, right? Is to have fun and get better. And the fact that probably nobody is telling you that you've got noob form, right? This is your start of your shot. This is the finish of your shot. The fact that nobody's telling you that is why everyone is quitting in lacrosse and why the sport is shrinking, and no one's doing anything about it. No one is trying to think about, hey, what's wrong? Why aren't kids having fun? But if you look at lacrosse, this is what's really killer. Look at lacrosse commercials from the big lacrosse companies where they show a youth player, and every single one of them will have this noob form. Dropping the wrist and rotating the stick at the start of the shot, and then finishing with the stick parallel to the ground at their hip at the end of the shot. They couldn't even find youth players for their commercials who have good form. That's how blind they are to it. Look at when people are posting on Instagram, what they're posting on Facebook of like themselves or their kid or their brother or whoever, you know, doing something like playing wall ball or shooting or whatever. It's like, you know, I would never put a video of myself playing golf, like swing a golf club, because I'm terrible at golf. You know, I'd be like, everyone's going to look at this and know. I wouldn't put it up there and be like, hey, look at me, because everyone who's going to look at it is going to be like, hey, you suck at golf. You know, you don't know what you're doing. But that's like how blind we are as a sport, is that people are posting these pictures, and it's the same thing as if they were posting a picture of the kid or their brother or themselves being like, hey, look at how great I throw a baseball, and throwing like a baby throws it, right? No one would do that, because we all know this is a waste of time. This is not, you're not skilled at all to do this. But you'll see all these videos online. This is what kills me, is like, I'm like, you know, like just trying to broadcast this message out to everyone, because they don't have a future and no one's helping them. No one, you know, I don't hear anybody else saying this stuff. You know, if you look at these videos and you see the motion start like this, they're shot, bottom hand dips, stick starts to rotate, you'll see they all do it. But every advanced player highlight doesn't do that. It's like, if you've got this natural form, you don't succeed, except maybe if you're a long stick midi. But then why would you want to have noob skills and succeed? It doesn't make you like good, it makes you lucky. You know, get rid of this noob form, and, you know, just all the videos are on phantomlacrosse.com. Get a Phantom Pocket, because it'll teach you, you'll self-teach. The pocket doesn't work when you do noob form, but the closer your form gets to this advanced form, like swinging the stick high, bottom hand to elbow, getting that timing right, the pocket rocks when you've got good form. And it's got a ton of holds, so you can learn all sorts of crazy tricks with it and like crazy fakes with it. So watch the videos on phantomlacrosse.com to know more about what I'm talking about, how to spot noob form, how to change it to the form every advanced player uses. Get a Phantom Pocket so you can teach yourself, because no one else is going to teach you. And they're all going to keep saying, hey, you're doing a great job. Just go play more wall ball. You'll get better. You're not going to get better. You got to break these all four pieces of the noob form to be able to advance. So videos on phantomlacrosse.com. Buy a Phantom Pocket so you can figure it out yourself. And join Stickworks. That's Stickworks, works with an E. It's a German word for factory. Stickworks.com. It's a global competition that you can win prizes, join as you know, by yourself as a player, or get your whole team to sign up and compete against each other on a team leaderboard, state leaderboard, global leaderboard. It's all free, and you win cool stuff, and it's fun. It's a great way to stay connected, and you're going to learn how to do all sorts of stuff that'll make you a better player. But it's all stuff that is fun, like huge fakes, like crazy combinations of fakes, tons of examples, tons of cool graphics, and like point of view shots. So when I'm explaining how to hold the stick, I'm showing you the same way you see it when in your own hand. So you can do it, like you can learn this stuff, and you're going to accelerate past all of your teammates, all of the other teams, because, you know, I'm just like one guy, like trying to help out here, but my message is not, you know, I can't broadcast it to like everyone in the state and they're going to listen to me, or everyone in the country, right? You're hearing this, you can accelerate past all the rest of them, because they're going to just use their noob form forever, because no one's telling them how to fix all four things. They're just telling them, oh, just fix this one thing. They won't even tell them how to fix their top hand. They'll be like, just don't strangle the stick. You know, hold it loosely. Well, if I hold it loosely with a noob fist, it's still a noob fist. And they're also saying, like, snap your wrists. Like, in baseball, that makes sense. But this is not snapping your wrist. Bridge to gun is not snapping your wrist. This is a different motion. And your bottom hand does not snap at all. Like, it's nonsense. But it's stolen from baseball. Somebody said it, and now we just all repeat it. The last thing like that is hold the stick in your fingertips. You know, like, this is just like the people who say this stuff. It's like, doesn't anybody listen to what they're saying? Nobody holds the stick in their fingertips. It's hold it in your fingers. That's what I call this bear grip. That's what they're talking about. But they all say, hold it in your fingertips, which that means this. And I've seen people make videos saying this is the right way to learn how to use a lacrosse stick. But, good luck. So that's it. Let's wind this one up. The 4 things, just to recap, if you're, well, I think nobody came in late to this. We've got, the top hand can't be a noob fist. It's got to be either, depending on what you're doing, bare hand, gun, or bridge. Bridge to gun, just do this 8,000 times until it's just natural for you. So top hand grip, your hand spacing has got to be elbow rule. Put a big wad of tape there so you never have to measure it again. You got to get your hands up above your shoulders. That's the only way to break your natural form. You got to learn how to do this above your shoulders, then bring it all the way over to your toe to rip shots. And then the last thing is your motion has got to start pulling your bottom hand to your elbow. So when the motion starts with good form, I see the stick sliding from the bottom hand by the face to top hand by the face, and this gigantic gap gets ripped shut by your bottom hand. That is a whole nother arm worth of power for free, which you don't get that with noob form. So noob form is your bottom hand dip, the stick will start rotating at the start of the motion instead of this sliding bottom hand rip at the start. And then the finish, noob form finish, is the stick parallel to the ground, making the square. This is only noobs do this. This is the form you've got to break. Advanced player brings the stick like this, bottom hand to elbow, and the stick is pointing at the ground at their opposite toe. So it's like huge differences in the motion. That's why practicing noob form doesn't ever become advanced form. You've got to break all 4 of these natural habits, change them into the thing that all advanced players do. They all have, everybody's got like a different variation on their form, and that's what we want. We want individuals. We want creativity, but you'll never take noob form and make anything out of it. The only thing it's going to do is end your career. So, let's work together and I'll get you there. All right, that's it for today. Thanks a lot.